President Trump's tariffs are facing a new legal setback today. The U.S. Court of International Trade ruled federal law does not give the president, quote, unbounded authority, end quote, to impose levies on virtually every foreign nation. The court rejected the president's claim of an emergency and said only Congress can impose tariffs. The White House plans to appeal. And Elon Musk says he's leaving his position as a special government employee and head of DOGE. He posted on X saying his scheduled time is coming to an end, and he thanked President Trump. CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes joins us with more on Musk's farewell to the White House. Good morning, Nancy. So the big question, I think, is what did Musk actually accomplish with DOGE, and what happens to it now that he will be out?
Well, he masterminded unprecedented cuts across the federal government, Errol, not only to government contracts and government programs, but also to government jobs. About 200,000 federal workers so far have been laid off. Another 75,000 have taken buyouts. Those numbers are going to continue to rise. And when you look at specific departments, like the Department of Education and the IRS, there have been really deep cuts that have changed the way that those agencies are going to be able to operate going forward. USAID was practically decimated. So his presence, even though it was only 4 months that he was here in the federal government due to the nature of the employment that he had here as a special government employee, it is going to be felt for years, if not decades. On the other hand, he had set out to cut $2 trillion from the federal budget. He ended up with much smaller cuts, about $150 billion. And the reason for that is that you can cut all the federal employees you want, you can cut all the federal programs you want, but the lion's share of the budget is really dedicated to those entitlement programs, to Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security and the Defense Department, and those things, the entitlements at least, remain virtually untouched.
Yeah, so he did some impactful work, but you still deal with the realities of the entitlement programs. Nancy, you and I have been speaking this week about a seeming change in President Trump's tone toward Russian President Vladimir Putin. And I know that yesterday you questioned him on that, and he seemed to give a deadline to Putin as far as Ukraine is concerned. What happened there?
Right. Although it is a deadline we've heard before. President Trump said he's giving Putin 2 weeks, and at the end of the 2 weeks, he'll know whether Putin is really serious about wanting peace. But he has been providing that 2-week timeline for about a month now. Whenever he's asked about Putin, he says, well, in 2 weeks we'll know. In 2 weeks we'll know if he's serious. He did express public dissatisfaction with Putin, which is something we don't hear from him all the time. Anger that Putin continues to intensify his air assault on Ukraine, even as the White House tries to broker a ceasefire between these two nations. And I asked President Trump what he wants to see happen next. Take a listen.
Well, I will if it's necessary. You know, it takes. We have to. I think I'm at this point. I wish it would have been that way a couple of months ago, but at this point, we're working on President Putin, and we'll see where we are. I think we're doing fine, but we'll see. I don't like what's happening.
If things go well, he said he might be open to talks with Putin and Zelensky in Geneva, Switzerland, sometime soon. Errol.
All right. Nancy Cordes at the White House. Nancy, thanks.